This is Anna Marie, and I wanted to take the moment in this video to pivot away from some of my homeschooling videos to more personal issues, specifically regarding life issues. And I'm doing this because, as the current Vice President Kamala Harris has spoken of, we need to do the work, right? And she talks about the emphasis of getting out there and working, fighting the fight and doing all this stuff. And I feel, you know what? She's right. We do need to do the work and we do need to fight a fight. But this fight is not meant to be a hateful fight. This fight is meant to be a fight of compassion towards people who do not know what mercy and compassion and understanding looks like. And speaking as one who has faced a crisis pregnancy more than once, because let me tell you, I have had 7 pregnancies, and from those pregnancies, I have had 6 survived babies, children. 1 has died, and my life for about 4 of those 7 was at risk for severe complications. And I understand what it's like to be afraid. I have cried, knowing that I was pregnant and, wasn't ready, had children already, had a struggling marriage, had no support, was on my own, felt as though, with my health issues and constantly sick during pregnancy, and I had 2 C-sections in less than a year with my first 2. I had a lot of fear, and I had a lot of opposition from OBGYNs, telling me not to get pregnant, not to have, not to try and VBAC after having all these C-sections. It was incredibly, I was filled with a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty, and in some of my pregnancies, I didn't even have the support of my family. I am a pro-life person, and I believe God gives us the children that he wishes for us to have. And so, we used natural family planning to avoid pregnancies, but in some cases, I still got pregnant. And being Catholic, I have the obligation to say yes to that life. If I don't want to have children, then I need to avoid the marital act. That's just how we have to behave. We are not animals who have compulsion and can't control ourselves. We are spiritual beings. We have a rational mind. We have self-control. We have discipline. We have to deny ourselves things if we're not willing to take on the responsibility of what those actions can cause, which would be the existence of a human being, right? I mean, it's one of these where if you don't have a baby in you, you aren't pregnant, So I find this such a laughable thing for people to say that they're going to have an abortion. It's not a baby. Well, what else are you pregnant with? You're not pregnant with a dog. You're not pregnant with a bird. You're not pregnant with hamsters. I mean, you're pregnant with a human being. And everyone who knows that. I mean, that's just a logical conclusion. I'm not some scientist who needs to explain this. Humans give birth to humans. And if it wasn't a human being, you would not be pregnant. So, the point is that I know how hard it can be to be pregnant. I have suffered greatly for being pregnant. But I would know, and honestly, I know that feeling of being, as that feeling as though there's no connection with that baby inside of you. You know, you feel the movements and you're like, I don't have a connection with this child. You know, some women do. I didn't. I didn't feel that kind of bond with the baby in utero. And it wasn't until I was either sectioned or pushed my baby through and I heard their sweet little cries that I realized how much I wanted that baby, my child. And it's a really difficult thing sometimes when you are just struggling to believe, like, yeah, I am really pregnant with a human being. I have a baby in me, you know, I'm not just like really fat and uncomfortable for nothing. You know, you have that baby, and so doctors, I think, know that. And so they'll try to dehumanize your pregnancy and make you feel as though you don't have a baby and it's just a clump and whatever other lies they want to tell you so that you don't feel guilty about aborting your own child. But the truth is, it is. And, you know, having lost a baby at 37 weeks, there's some people who choose to abort my son at his age and at his gestation. Like, how could you think that my son wouldn't be a human being at 37 weeks? I mean, they're a human at the moment of conception, so I don't know how they couldn't possibly be when they're that fully formed. My point in saying all of this is that for people who are facing a crisis pregnancy, don't surround yourself with people who want you to believe that that baby is a curse to you, because it isn't. It's hard. Pregnancy is hard. Well, it was for me, not for everybody, but even so, it's still challenging. But finding people who will hold your hand instead of slap it are the kind of people who you need to be about. Go to your church, go to a pro-life clinic, crisis pregnancy clinic. There are people who will walk with you, because that baby, you don't know what it's called to do in this world. We think we know everything. We think, oh, I'm going to make these decisions and I have all this power. It's my body, my choice. But, you know, if abortion is meant to kill and it's your body, then why don't you die when you have an abortion if it's your body? Abortion is not killing your body. It's killing an individual's body. Because again, abortion kills. And if that body was yours, you would also be dead after that abortion. So recognize there are alternatives. There are people who know how hard it can be. But please think about those babies. Think about the future that you can have with that child. Yes, parenting is also tough. Believe me, I have a large family. Indulging children is not how you're going to have a good child. Being a good parent is how you're going to have a good child. Raising them up well is how you have a good child. They're not just going to, raise themselves. You have to form them. And that takes effort, sacrifice. But that is what we all have to do to have a better society, is to do the work. To do the hard work, as Kamala would say. And if we do the hard work to get our children in this world and to raise them well, to choose to do good, to raise up flowers in this garden of this world, the garden of humanity, then at the end of our lives, we can look back on our life and be grateful that we didn't destroy those to whom God has entrusted to us to raise, and to find love in having, because the love that you have when you see that child is unlike any that you will have for any other relationship in your life. You were made for it. You were made for that child. So please say yes to the gift of life. As hard as I know it will be. But there's so much good and so much blessing in saying yes to the gift of life. And that is the lie that you need to combat in your head, because it is a lie. And there's nothing more beautiful than the gift of life and motherhood. So please feel free to leave comments. I would love to be a support to any mother who finds herself struggling, because I know what it's like to be alone. I know what it's like to be scared. But you're not alone, and we are here for you. Thank you for watching, and God bless.